Picture yourself in an English meadow at twilight. The grass ripples like a living thing. The air grows heavy with that particular silence that comes just before dark. You might think nothing could disturb such peace, but you'd be wrong. Just beneath your feet, in tunnels and warrens you'll never see, entire societies are being born and destroyed. Richard Adams's Watership Down may open with rabbits, but it ends with revolution. Published in 1972, this novel transforms pastoral England into a stage for exile, war, and the eternal human hunger for freedom. Meet Fiver first. He's small, jittery, the kind of rabbit others might dismiss. But Fiver sees things, terrible things written in the wind and sky.
Blood. Fire.
Death coming for their warren at Sandleford. Most rabbits would ignore him. His brother Hazel doesn't. Hazel is practical where Fiver is mystical, steady where Fiver trembles. But he trusts what his brother sees. So Hazel does something dangerous. He convinces others to leave everything behind. Their departure isn't just a journey through fields, it's mutiny against comfort, against the deadly inertia of staying put. The rabbits who follow become legends in their own right. There's Bigwig, battle-scarred and built like a boxer, an ex-soldier of the Warren's police force who fights first and thinks later. Blackberry, whose mind works like clockwork, always 3 moves ahead. Dandelion, who carries their history and stories, the keeper of their collective memory. Even Pipkin, terrified of his own shadow, finds courage when it counts. Adams doesn't give us generic rabbits. He gives us warriors, philosophers, and poets in fur. Each one carries a piece of what makes a civilization whole. But Adams goes further. These rabbits don't just hop and eat, they have language. Lapine, they call it, with words for concepts we've forgotten. They have folklore passed down through generations, tales of Elorera, the trickster prince who outwitted death itself. Around their burrows, they tell these stories the way our ancestors told tales around fires. Through this intricate world-building, Adams creates something extraordinary, a culture as real as any human civilization, miniature but complete. Watership Down stops being a novel about animals and becomes something closer to the Odyssey. The journey nearly kills them. Rivers that might as well be oceans. Roads where metal monsters scream past at lethal speeds. Hawks circling overhead like angels of death. And then there are humans, vast, incomprehensible gods who reshape the world on whims. When they reach a river too wide to cross, Blackberry has a revelation. They can float on a board torn loose from the bank. Watching Hazel understand the value of this insight, that brains matter as much as muscle, you witness leadership being forged. Every obstacle overcome feels monumental because, at rabbit scale, it is. Watership Down rises before them like a promised land, a hill with panoramic views, good earth, defensible positions. They dig their new warren with something approaching joy. Safety at last. But then reality strikes with cruel simplicity. They're all male. No does means no kits, no future, no civilization. Their paradise is a dead end. What good is security if your society dies with you? The problem forces Hazel to confront a harder truth than any predator. Survival means growth, risk, change. Stagnation is just slow-motion extinction. Desperate for answers, Hazel leads scouting missions to nearby warrens. One discovery seems miraculous: Cowslip's Warren, where rabbits live like aristocrats.
Sleek.
Well-fed. The burrows are spacious, the food plentiful. It looks like paradise found. But Fiver's fur stands on end. Something's wrong in the silences between words, the way these rabbits don't quite meet your eyes. Then they find the snares. The truth crystallizes. Humans feed these rabbits, protect them from predators, and harvest them like crops. These rabbits have traded their souls for comfort. The horror of Cowslip's Warren haunts long after they escape. These rabbits have stopped telling the old stories, stopped believing in Elorera's cunning and defiance. They know some of them will die in snares, but they've learned not to think about it, not to feel it. They've built an entire culture around denial. Adams has crafted one of literature's most disturbing allegories, a society that chooses beautiful captivity over dangerous freedom. Fiver's instinct saves them again, gets them out before the wire tightens. The scene lingers because we recognize it, the bargains we make, the truths we agree not to see. Back on Watership Down, you can watch Hazel transform. He doesn't rule through fear or dominance, he listens. He asks questions. He finds what each rabbit does best and trusts them to do it. This style of leadership feels almost revolutionary among both rabbits and men. Adams, who survived World War II, understood something about the difference between officers who lead and those who command. Hazel embodies the former, firm when necessary, compassionate always, willing to be wrong if it means making better decisions. He's the leader every society needs and few ever find. Fate arrives on storm winds in the form of Kahar, a gull blown far from the coast. Injured, irascible, speaking in a fractured mix of bird language and Lapine, Kahar seems like a problem at first. But he becomes their greatest asset. From the sky, he sees what ground-bound rabbits cannot: patterns, distances, opportunities. He scouts distant territories and brings back crucial intelligence. A warren called Efrafa holds many of them. But this warren is different from anything they've encountered. Kahar's descriptions carry an edge of fear. Efrafa is a prison disguised as a society. General Woundwort rules Efrafa with an iron paw. Scarred from battles that would have killed lesser rabbits, he's built a warren that runs like a military dictatorship. Movement is controlled. Speech is monitored. Every rabbit knows their place, their duties, their limits. Step out of line, and the Ausla, Woundwort's enforcers, make examples. Adams has created something genuinely chilling, a totalitarian state in miniature, where safety from external threats justifies internal oppression. Efrafa mirrors every fascist regime in history, proving that tyranny scales to any size, any species. Breaking into Efrafa requires more than courage. It demands cunning that would make El Herrera proud. Hazel and Bigwig craft an audacious plan. Bigwig will infiltrate Efrafa, pretending to be a wanderer seeking to join their ranks. Inside the rigid hierarchy, surrounded by suspicious officers and Woundwort's terrible presence, Bigwig endures trials that test him to his core. The physical danger is bad enough, but the psychological weight, maintaining the lie, earning trust, all while planning betrayal, nearly breaks him. This is where Bigwig transcends his role as muscle. He becomes the story's beating heart. The escape explodes like a thunderstorm. Rain hammers down as Bigwig leads the does out of Efrafa with Woundwort's entire army in pursuit. Every decision happens at a sprint. Hazel coordinates from outside while Bigwig fights a running battle through tunnels and across open ground. Then Blackberry's genius saves them again, a boat, left by humans, floating on the river. They pile in and drift away while Woundwort's forces can only watch from the bank, impotent with rage. Adams writes these sequences with breathless intensity. You can feel mud under your feet, rain in your eyes, fear in your throat. But victory brings no peace. Woundwort won't accept defeat. His pride, his entire identity, demands revenge. He marshals his forces for total war. When his army arrives at Watership Down, pastoral England transforms into a battlefield worthy of epic poetry. Tunnels become trenches. Open hillsides become killing grounds. Hazel, wounded and desperate, makes an impossible gamble. He seeks help from a farm dog, leveraging the unpredictable chaos of domesticated animals against Woundwort's military precision. It's a strategy born from desperation and brilliance in equal measure. The battle focuses down to a single tunnel, a single moment, a single rabbit. Bigwig stands in the breach, bleeding, exhausted, facing Woundwort's fury alone. When Woundwort demands he stand aside, Bigwig delivers one of literature's perfect moments of defiance. My chief rabbit told me to defend this run, and I shall defend it. No grand speeches. Just duty, loyalty, love. When the farm dog crashes through, scattering Woundwort's forces, the battle ends, but Woundwort himself vanishes. His body is never found. Legend grows around his disappearance, turning him into myth, a warning that tyranny never truly dies. In the aftermath, something beautiful emerges from the chaos. Hazel's refugees are no longer running, they're building. The warren thrives with does and kits, with stories and laughter, with the messy complexity of real society. They've achieved what seemed impossible, a home built on choice rather than coercion, on cooperation rather than domination. Watership Down becomes more than geography, it becomes an ideal. Proof that communities can be different, that leadership can be gentle, that freedom and security aren't opposites but partners. Threading through everything are the stories of Allerera and Frith, the sun god who gave rabbits their gifts and curses. These myths aren't decoration, they're the rabbit's philosophy, their moral compass, their cultural DNA. Allerera wins through cleverness, not strength. He endures, adapts, survives. His tales function like parables, each one echoing the challenges Hazel's band faces. Adams understands what myths do. They tell us who we are and who we might become. The rabbits carry Allerera in their hearts the way humans carry their own heroes and saints. But Adams's ecological vision may be his most prescient gift. Long before environmentalism became mainstream, he wrote the countryside as a living network of interdependence. Every species matters. Every action ripples. The rabbits survive not by conquering nature, but by reading it, respecting it, fitting themselves into its patterns. Every shadow could be a hawk. Every rustle could be a fox. But also, every stream offers water, every field offers food. Adams shows us a world where humans are the anomaly, the force that breaks natural law. His vision grows more relevant every year. Modern readers find mirrors everywhere in these pages. False utopias that promise security for a price. Authoritarian regimes that devour their own citizens. The environmental crisis that forces migration. Hazel's leadership, pragmatic, moral, collaborative, offers an antidote to strongman politics. His success comes from empathy, from seeing others clearly and using their strengths. The novel doesn't preach these lessons, it embodies them. The allegories work because they're not forced, they emerge naturally from the story of rabbits trying to survive. The psychological depth keeps Watership Down feeling contemporary. Fiver reads like every prophet crying in the wilderness, seeing catastrophe before others will listen. Cowslip's Warren mirrors our own culture of comfortable denial, choosing entertainment over action. Woundwort embodies the seductive logic of authoritarianism, sacrifice freedom for safety, individuality for order. Each character represents a way of being in the world. The novel operates simultaneously as myth, political allegory, environmental warning, and psychological study. It's why it never feels dated. Years later, Hazel has grown old. His warren thrives, multiple generations, strong and free. Then one evening, a rabbit appears at his burrow, radiant and strange. Allerera himself, offering Hazel a place in the eternal warren. No fear.
No regret.
Hazel's spirit leaves his aging body and joins the mythic hero who guided him all along. It's one of literature's most perfect endings, death as peaceful transition, as reward, as homecoming. Hazel doesn't die, he transcends, leaving behind a legacy that will outlive memory. Strip away the fur and whiskers and Watership Down reveals its true subject, civilization itself. How does it begin? What makes it flourish or fail? Adams's answer comes through cooperation, imagination, and the courage to choose ethics over expedience. Every allegory in these pages speaks to our moment: migration, leadership, freedom of thought, coexistence with nature. Adams achieves something rare, a myth that feels ancient and contemporary simultaneously. His rabbits teach truths that transcend species, time, culture. The novel's genius lies in its dual nature. Children read adventure, escapes, battles, victories. Adults see meditations on power, mortality, meaning. The pastoral England Adams describes has largely vanished under concrete and sprawl, but the spirit of Watership Down persists in every community that chooses hope over despair, cooperation over domination. It endures because it honors both innocence and experience, both simplicity and depth. Few novels manage this balance. Fewer still maintain it across generations. Ultimately, Watership Down asks us to look closer at the world we dismiss, to see intelligence in places we overlook, to recognize that survival is never solitary, that leadership means service, that freedom, for any creature, is fragile and precious. Hazel and his companions offer a template for living, vulnerable yet determined, individual yet connected. In their story, Adams composed something more than a novel. He created a hymn to life itself, to its dangers and beauties, its terrors and triumphs, its stubborn, magnificent persistence. If you learned something new, consider subscribing for more content. Let us know in the comments what book you would like to see next. Happy learning!